You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I am back. Rudrance for Black and White Sports 2. Well, make sure you hit that subscribe, like, comment, check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast from. All the audio from all of our videos is available. Spotify, Apple, Google, you know the drill. Okay, so I'm going to start this video out with a bit of a Rhodes rant because I saw this later on yesterday afternoon, and I did a video the other day. A lot of people were really kind of worked up over the idea that the Niners did, in fact, sort of look into Lamar Jackson. I mean, they just come out and admitted they looked into it. And some people had a fit. Now, Dan Patrick came out on his show and he echoed this. And I find it odd. One guy was so triggered that Dov Cleveman of Bro Bible and on Twitter, he's got a massive following, actually tweeted out and said, the 49ers kicked the tires on Lamar Jackson. And some guy said, oh my God, his source is a sportscaster. I blocked this dude for misinformation. And I'm like, wow, do you truly believe, you lunatic, that Dan Patrick doesn't know people in NFL personnel and in NFL facilities all over the league after 30 years in the damn business? I mean, can you be that big of a moron to truly believe Dan Patrick wouldn't indeed have sources? If somebody like Chris Sims, and I can tell you right now, Chris Sims, you know, everybody knows he's got a relationship with Kyle Shanahan. He's got a relationship with Josh McDaniels. He's got relationships in the Patriots building. So you think if Chris Sims came out and said, the 49ers are kicking the tires on Mac Jones in a trade with the Patriots, I'm not doing a video on that and citing Chris Sims? Why would I do that? Because he's got relationships all over the league as a former player. All right? And here's the dirty little secret in all of this sports thing, right? Little peel back the curtain action. NFL players and NFL coaches and NFL GMs and owners, everybody, guess what they do? They watch Pat McAfee. They watch Dan Patrick. They watch Colin Cowherd. They watch YouTube channels. They consume all of this and in turn have relationships built and in fact like these guys. They do. Okay? Do you really believe that Dan Patrick can't pull his phone out and shoot a text to somebody in one of these facilities to find out if Lamar Jackson and the 49ers, if there was some tire kicking going on there? Of course he can. It's weird. People get triggered. They see something and somebody's not supposed to report that. Well, he's just trying to get clicks. No shit. What's the point if you don't get a click? I mean, really, what would be the point of making a video if I don't want the video to get watched? I mean, hello, McFly. Anybody home? So anyway, that was a side rant, but because, look, I'm doing the Dan Patrick story. I am. And of course I am. Because there's not a chance in the pit of Hades that Dan Patrick doesn't know people inside the Niners building and inside the damn Ravens building. Or people connected all over the league. I mean, it's baffling to me that people believe that actual pundits like Dan Patrick, of course they're newsmakers as well. They're not just talking about it. They're part of making the news. And maybe that's where things have changed. I don't know. But, you know, it's strange. Do you expect Kyle Shanahan to saunter out to a press conference and say, we tried to trade for Lamar Jackson? Do you have to hear it like that to get your news? Because, I mean, that's not going to happen. You would literally never have news. Okay? So, there's a side rant to this whole thing, but it's part of it, right? I saw this guy yesterday on Twitter, and it just, it was crazy how they were dragging Dolph Cleveland for well, I don't have that story up right now, but basically the same story I've got in front of me, they put on Bro Bible, and people got so damn worked up over it. It was ridiculous. For the record, I don't think Lamar Jackson is going to the 49ers. But when Dan Patrick says they looked into it, they kicked the tires on it, I absolutely believe that. I do. It would be irresponsible of Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch not to have looked into Lamar Jackson. Irresponsible. Look, the Dallas Cowboys, have Dak Prescott. It is irresponsible of Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones not to look into Lamar Jackson. Same for the Vikings. If you're in a front office and as a coach, unless you got Patrick Mahomes or one of the other top 5 quarterbacks in the league, you have got to have at least looked into Lamar Jackson, or you are not performing your job duties, of which you should be removed from your job duties. So, there we go. All right. That's rant. It's out and over with. The rumors and speculations centering on the idea that Lamar Jackson could end up in a San Francisco 49ers uniform are largely fun and games. But now along comes a report that has some gravitas attached, with Dan Patrick reporting that, quote, they kicked the tires on that. They being the 49ers. That being the concept of hooking up with the Baltimore Ravens in a way that could send unsigned MVP packing for the Bay. And we'll just play the audio. Hopefully it won't get nailed.
Everything. I was told this yesterday. The Niners have monitored everything, including Lamar Jackson. They've explored that, or at least looked at it. They kicked the tires on that. And of course you should do that. Always try to improve. But with the Jets,
absolutely. The 49ers should look into that. Quote, exploration isn't the same as doing. Absolutely. But at the same time, this nugget of info is far more substantial than the series of interesting speculation that would have had the powerhouse 49ers solving their quarterback issue. Trey Lance has played in just 8 games over his 2 NFL seasons, and surprise rookie Brock Purdy is currently recovering from a torn UCL in his throwing arm by pulling off a blockbuster move. Jackson suiting up for the 49ers and succeeding in Coach Kyle Shanahan's system. Little wonder San Francisco fans might salivate at the idea. Some would, some wouldn't. Much more palatable, of course, to the fans of the Baltimore Ravens, that the team does not, quote, start over at the sport's most important position, and that a compromise can be reached with the team's most valuable and most important player in Lamar Jackson. Yeah, but you got to wonder. I mean, if you're a Ravens fan, do you want to give a quarterback $275 million? I'm just wondering. As a Niners fan, I don't want them to make this trade. All right? And again, I don't think it's going to happen. But it certainly is fun to talk about. And yeah, when somebody like Dan Patrick says it, that somebody dropped a nugget in his ear, well, hell yes, everybody's going to listen. Of course they are. It's Dan frickin' Patrick. He's a legend. He's what? A top 5 to 6 to 7 in all of sports commentary over the last 30 years? I mean, he's a former mothership GOAT back when that meant something, right? So I wanted to talk about this story, but I wanted to also rant about the idea of where it is people get their sources from. I mean, Sean Payton loves Colin Cowherd. He loves him. Do you think Cowherd doesn't have the 411 going forward on Denver Broncos going-ons? Of course. Adam Schefter, he's all tuned into the Denver Broncos because he's got a relationship with them. And it's just crazy. I saw people just dragging Dov Cleveland yesterday. And all Dov does is just take information he's heard and retweet it and add a little nugget. Okay? Well, that's the exact same thing Mike Florio does. I mean, he even laughs about it. Copy, paste, snarky comment, and something post. And he's built a multi-million-dollar brand at Pro Football Talk doing just that. You know, it's crazy. It rubbed me the wrong way just because I was like, clearly you have no idea how this actually transpires. You know? I mean, that the idea that coaches, GMs, assistant GMs, team presidents, owners, I mean, the list goes all the way down, don't actually consume and are extremely close friends with a lot of these media cats. Of course they are. I mean, some of these media cats, for crying out loud, used to work for the teams. GMs are in the building. Former GMs, former coaches are in, former players, all in these ESPN's building, Fox's building, yada, 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 yada. So, I don't think Lamar Jackson ends up with the 49ers. And if he does, yikes. I think we've got something with Brock Purdy. I do. Now, the fly in the ointment to all of that is that elbow. Okay, that UCL injury. That is the fly in the ointment. That is the great unknown. That little nugget where Brock Purdy said, I don't know if I'm playing in 2023. I don't know where my elbow's going to be. I'm sure that probably sent the team into a bit of a high alert behind the scenes. All the while, they're dangling Trey Lance, one of their quarterbacks, out for trade. So, anyway, that's my rant. They don't call me Rhodes Rants for nothing. That's normally something you would see like on the political channel or on one of these controversial issues over on the big channel, but sometimes you got to rant about this crap too. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow, I blocked that guy for misinformation. Okay, moron. I mean, miss news. Who gives a shit? Miss it. You know? I mean, miss the news. Great. All because somehow a sportscaster is his source. Well, that sportscaster's got his source. That's why you do the news, right? Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.